Hey folks, this is Joe here. Hey, yesterday I taught a class and I did something in class I thought was really cool, simulating a temperature or an analog input. And anyway, I thought it was so cool I would make a video of it because it was just really neat. So to do this, come along with me and do this at the same time. Open up Crimson 3.2. We're going to use the emulator for this because that's what I did in the class. And go ahead and open up Crimson 3.2 and let's do this together. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the file pull down, and hopefully I'll talk through this so you don't have to watch the video, just let it play and do this in the background. Or, listen to this in the background and then use Crimson in the foreground. But anyway, go file pull down, select new, and we're going to use the graphite HMIs. So expand the graphite tree there in the lower left, and let's pick the G07 model for this application. Go ahead and click OK. And you can always tell what model Crimson is set up on because in the upper left-hand corner, it'll tell you what model it is. So G07, perfect. And then go over to the left and click Data Tags on the left. Click on Data Tags on the left here. And on Data Tags on the left, let's go ahead and create a new tag by just clicking the New button right below the word Navigation Pane. And that's going to give you a tag 1 here. And let's rename this, right-click on tag 1, and rename it, call it temperature underscore SP for set point. And then hit enter. Okay. Now, I'm going to make this tag be retentive. So in the middle of the screen where it says storage, choose retentive. That way we don't have to continually download or put in the new number every time we download. And this thing, we're going to have it simulate a 0 to 1,000 number, but it's going to show a 0.0 to 100.0. So click on the Format tab. Click on the Format tab. And on the Format, you see right here, team, where it says min and max, down here in the data limits. Do me a favor, put a 0 in the minimum and put a maximum of 1,000 for the max. So minimum is 0, maximum 1,000. But we want the 1,000 to actually show up as 100.0. So where it says Format Type, to the right of there, it has the word pick. Hit the pick button there, and we're going to declare this as a numeric tag. So for these options, pick numeric, the third one from the top, and then click OK. And that gives you access to the fixed data format. So now if you slide down further in here, you get access to the fixed data format. And we really want to adjust the digits before and the digits after. And since we want this 1,000 to show up as 100.0, 100, we're going to change the 5 to a 3 digits before and then .1 for a digit after. And then if you, again, slide all the way down, you see right here, team, under Format Units, that's the suffix here. I'll just put a space and a capital F as in Frank. Okay? Now, one more thing here I'll show you. If you go back to the Data tab on this guy, go back to the Data tab, and if you slide down in the middle, every tag in Crimson has this data simulation. And you can use that to simulate what a value would look like on the screen to see if you have a field big enough or something. So I want you to randomly pick a number, any number between 0 and 1,000 to put in there. So I might put 785. You can put any number you want in there between 0 and 1,000. Okay? All right. Let's go over to display page on the left. And we're going to go ahead and delete the world here off that page. And then I'm going to change the background of this page to a light gray. So anywhere out here, right click, go to properties. And where it says fill color, it's got black, hit the pull down there and choose a lighter gray. I mostly do this, team, because I use this pointer tool and it doesn't show up so well with the black background. So I do that. All right. Now we want to test this. So let's go over to the right, go to Data Tags on the right. And remember, the most important thing in my mind of Crimson is to have the courage to drag and drop. So you're going to grab the temperature tag from up here on the right side, and I want you to drag and drop it down here to the lower left of your display page. Now, I want to make the font of this thing bigger, and I want to bold it. The easy way to do that, team, is to click anywhere else. I call this Lose Focus, and then just hover over the thing to where you get the blue border, and then click one time, and this ghosted set of little icons should come up. And this one right here, team, will make the font much bigger, and this one will bold. Go ahead and hit all those. And then this guy right here, this little one with the green, that is the data entry one. You might as well go ahead and turn that on as well. So here I'll go do it. Boom. I'll click once. Oops. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. And I'll do the data entry. Bam. Notice I get a little background color. That's good. I'll click away. Now I just made everything bigger than the original box. So I need to click on a corner of the box here. And I need to stretch it because I just made the contents much bigger. So go ahead and do something like that. Little coffee break. That's delicious coffee. All right. So that's going to take care of the temperature thing. Maybe we should try this before we go further. Okay. So we're going to use the emulator to make this happen. You have two ways that you can turn on the emulator. One, you can go to the link pull down menu up here on top, the link pull down. You can click on that. And all the way on the bottom listing is the word options. You can click on the word options here. And you can check send to emulator right here. Device, send to emulator. That will turn on the emulator. You can click OK for that. Or the other option is this button right here, team, is the shortcut to emulator. So this button right here, whoops, there you go. If you see how it's got like a tan background? That means the emulator is turned on. If it doesn't have a tan background, then it's going to try to download to the real HMI. So we want to make sure that has a tan background. See, that's turned off. That's turned on. All right. Now, this is what I call the Shazam button, the lightning bolt or update. Feel free to hit the lightning bolt button here, or I think you can also press F9, does the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and download the emulator. If this is the first time you use the emulator, I want you to go ahead and install that PCAP. There's a pop-up that asks you to install some software. Go ahead and install that because that is the emulated, some Windows software we use. Everybody uses it too. Anyway, once you get that installed, you'll see an emulated version of the HMI. So I can click here and I can put in some numbers, for instance. Notice that it says 0.0 to 100.0 down here. So if I put in 756, it doesn't like that because it's got to have this format. So maybe I'll put in 75.3 and that'll take it. Okay, so that means the emulator is running. Now, I typically will leave the emulator up and running. If you want to close it, you can go down to your taskbar and you can right click on that and you can close it. I'll just leave it open. The emulator will run for 15 minutes and then it shuts down. So I'm going to click on Crimson in the background because I want to get into what I did in yesterday's class that I thought was so cool. This temperature right now is a constant number. And if you know anything about analog inputs, they're never constant. They're close to the constant, but they're always fluctuating a little bit. So I want to add a little bit of variability to this. So go over back to data tags on the left side. Go to data tags on the left side. Go ahead and create another new tag and call this one temperature underscore status. Rename it temperature underscore status. What we're going to do here, team, is we're basically going to take the temperature SP and make it equal to this one and then add a little bit of randomness to it. So watch what I do. On the left, I'm clicked on temperature status. Now, Crimson will eventually, by the way, refresh this. So if I click on temperature SP, you can see it there. Click back on temperature status. Perfect. Now, with this being clicked on the left side, I'm going to go over here to the right side and I'm going to grab temperature SP and watch this. I'm going to drag it and drop it right here, boom, on the word source internal, and that's going to take on that properties. However, I want to add a little bit of, what do I want to say here? Some variability here that makes some changes. So it looks like it's really actually live data, not a stale point. And to do this, I'll show you, I'm going to use a random function. So if you go to the lower right-hand corner Crimson and click on System, and then expand your functions tree, expand the functions tree, and then expand the math category. Expand math, and in the math category, there's all kinds of sine, cosine. I used to love trigonometry, believe it or not, but anyway, there's a function called random. And random just returns a random number between 0 and -1 of whatever's in the parentheses. You can always click on any of these and do a show help info, and that'll take you to the help document. So for instance, here I popped up that, I right-clicked and showed it, and here's the example of the random range. Like I said, it returns a random number, 1 minus whatever's in the parentheses. So that's what that does. All right, back to Crimson. So I want to use this here, but I can't really drag this out here because if I do, then it's going to delete what I did there. So watch what I do here. I'm going to put my cursor in here, and I'm going to click, keep clicking a few times. I'm going to click to where it turns blue, and then after it turns blue, I'll click one more time, and I get the blinking cursor. See my cursor blinking there? I'm going to do a space, the plus sign, space, oops, and then I'm going to type the word random, R-A-N-D-O-M, open parentheses, and I want this to have like a maybe a 1 degree fluctuation. So I'll put in 10, close parentheses, and then go ahead and hit the enter button. Bam. See how it took it? It took that, turned blue, that's what I mean. And this is still good here. Now, I want to have this thing have the same formatting as temperature SP, all that same formatting. So watch this trick, team. Over here on the left, I'm going to right click on temperature status, come down here to the middle of these options, go down to this copy from, and I want to click on copy format. So when I click on the copy format, there we go. My mouse out here looks like a regular pointer. But if I go over here, I got a trailing X. It's asking me, who do you want to copy the format from? Well, it's temperature SP. So I'm going to click on temperature SP, bam. And that should have copied all those formatting. That's exactly what I want to do. Perfect. Okay. That looks good. Looks good. All right. So let's test this. Let's go over to display pages on the left. Go to the right side. Grab the old temperature tag out here like this. And then an easy thing to do, team, to copy all the attributes from this one to this is simply right click on it. Do copy from. Select copy all formatting. Notice the trailing X. Click here. Bam. And then if I want to make this the same size as this one, right click on this thing and go to same size as. Click there. Bam. Like that. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's try this out. Go ahead and hit the lightning bolt. Shazam. Perfect. See how it's fluctuating? That's what I want. I can make this guy be any number I want. And I get that variability that I'm looking for. That's what I want in here. But that's really not the cool thing that I did in the class. I mean, it's sort of cool, but I want to show you something I did in the class that I thought was really neat about this. So back at Crimson, on the display page on the left, I'm going to go to the right side of Crimson, go into primitives. On the right side, go to primitives on the right side, and go into the category called gauges. Go into the category called gauges. All of these gauges operate exactly the same, so it doesn't matter which one you pick on. Any one that you like, if you click on it one time, you're going to find a bunch of pre-built different versions, and you can always modify the coloring scheme completely. It's a lot of variability here. Anyway, grab any of those, one of those out there you like. I don't care which one, grab any of them, drag it out like this. Double click on that, or right click and go to properties. We want this gauge to follow our temperature status value, okay? Notice I said temperature status. So I'm going to use this temperature status, and I'm going to drag and drop it right here. Bam. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but my gauge went full scale. And that's because behind the scenes, apparently, it's got 0 and 100 as the min and max kind of default. Now, we know that our minimum is actually 0 and our maximum is really 1,000. But I don't like doing that because then I'm using the constants, and I like to link everything back to the tag thing. So what I'm going to do, team, is I'm going to grab the same temperature status tag and put it in these two fields. However, this one needs to be the dot minimum property, and this one here needs to be the dot max. So watch what I do. I'm going to put my cursor in here. Notice I keep clicking. Once I get it blue, I'll click one more after the blue. I get the blinky blinky cursor. I'm going to do a dot or period, M-I-N, enter. And then this one down here, again, I'll click blue, one click after. There's blinky blinky, dot M-A-X, enter. That's what I want, okay? Now, I'll go ahead and show this. Go click OK. Let's go ahead and download Stimulator. See how it fluctuates? That's what I'm talking about. But here's what I was really impressed with this in my class yesterday. I'm going to double click back on the gauge. And what I did is I went to the bugs category. And on the bugs, I said, yes, enable bug. I picked lime color for this. And really, I want the bug to be the temperature SP. That's the constant. And then I can see this thing fluctuate. So I'm going to grab temperature SP, put it right there. That should give me a green like bug at that point. I'll click the OK button. Go ahead and download it. See a little green dot? Now, if I change this to something else, you see the green dot changes. And you can see a little bit of variability. Well, that's because the random is set to 1. If you want to see a little more fluctuation, team, you can always go back to data tags on the left. And on your temperature status, you can change the 10 to say a 20, for instance. That'll give you a 2-degree swing on that. So now you'll get a little bit more variability out of that thing, which, shows off more live. One more thing I want to show you here, is back on my display pages. Not only did I do that little bug thing, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go grab a different gauge. Do me a favor. Go over to the left, go to primitives on the left, and go ahead and find another gauge that, what's this guy? Oh, that's a radio. No, let's try this one. Let's try this guy. I'm going to try this guy out here. I'm going to do the same thing on this. Again, you pick whatever gauge you want. So I always have to do this. On the Format tab, got to drag your temperature status into these 3 fields like that. But this one, got to click after blue, .min, enter. And this one's .max. Someday we're supposed to fix this. It's supposed to do this automatic because other things do that. But in this case, I'll go to the bugs. I'll do the same thing as I do on the other bug. Say yes, pick the same color, grab the temperature SP, put it here. But go to the bands on this one. So on this one, there's a band. This ought to be interesting because it's got a band. Huh. Let's see what this does. Yes. Oh, I see. It's a band within a band. Okay. So we can pick a different color. No, that's not a good color. How about that? And I'll put the band start is going to start at 0, but I want it to end at the temperature SP. So I'll go ahead and do that. Put that there for the end. Click OK. And let's go ahead and download this and see what happens. See the difference? So if I change this, that's pretty cool. Now let's do one more thing, team. Then I got to wrap this video up real quick. I'll move this guy over here like this. I'd like to show this on a trend viewer. Really easy. Go over to the left and go to data logger on the left. And on the data logger, go ahead and click the new log button up here in the upper left-hand corner, right below navigation pane. Click the new log button. We're going to do a continuous sample. For this update, change the 60 to 0.2. That's the fastest we can currently log. That's every 200 milliseconds. Each file holds, I'll put in 300. And for retain at most, we'll do 30. We're using the emulator anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but that's what I'll do. Now, go to the Contents tab. And on the Contents tab, do me a favor and drag both these tags out here. Okay? So that will put them in the data logger. But once we set up the data logger, we can go back to display pages on the left, go over to the right side, and in primitives, go to the home directory of your primitives, and then slide down a little bit, team. Go into the category called System Primitives. And in System Primitives, you got a bunch of stuff here, but about the 3rd row from the top, the right-hand column, left-hand column, is the trend viewer, this little gray box. Go ahead and drag this dude out here like this, and then double-click on this or right-click, go to Properties. Oops, let me move this down so you can see it. So go to the Options tab, and on the Options, right here where it says Data Log None, because we can have multiple different data logs run at the same time of different frequencies and setups, you have to tell the trend viewer primitive which data log it's supposed to get its data from. We only have one log 1, so we'll do that. Viewer width, that means the total distance by default will be 4 minutes. Rather than wait that long, hit the pull down here, slide all the way to the top, choose 30 seconds. You're welcome to change the thickness of the line if you want, 6 or 7. And then down here where it says show cursor, I always like to turn that on. It's pretty cool. The only other thing I change in here, team, is on the Format tab, I like to change the background color from gray to black. So I'll do that. And then once I have all those selected, I'll click the OK button down below. All right, let's try it. Let's go and save it, download it. Let's see. So there you can see it working. if I change the temperature, anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. And then if you click anywhere out here, because we're doing show cursor, it'll show you the values at that moment in time. And then you're welcome to go back to live and let it crank along. So anyway, I just thought that was a kind of a cool video. I wonder if there's something else I could add to this. You think about something. You know, I'm going to throw out an idea real quick. Go back to data tags on the left. You know this temperature set point? We have that currently where you change the number. There is a function over here in Crimson, over in system, down here in tag data. There's a function called get up down data. I'm going to try something. And I'll probably cause a problem, but I'm going to drag get up down data right here. Boom. Now, don't worry about the error. I'll fix that. Because I changed this, the screen is trying to have a data entry, so that's the problem. However, get up down data. I should make a video just on this, but if you put your cursor in between the parentheses, if you delete the first 0 and type the word disp count, DISPCOUNT, and then if you move your right arrow, change the 0 to a 1000, hit enter, it'll take that. Let me make that bigger so you can see it. See that? So you want to change that first 0 to a disp count, comma, 1000. And then if you click on the errors down here, click on the errors, it's going to take you to the problem child, which is right here. Because we have this set up as data entry, it doesn't like that. So do me a favor, just double click on this label or whatever. Go to the data tab. And on the data tab, see how it says was? I believe if you change the operation from data entry to display only, that'll fix that little problem. And then click OK. Notice I still have a red error down here. I still have a red error. If I take my mouse and roll over it, no errors. All right, go ahead and download this. Watch what this does. So now what's going to happen is it's going to ramp from 0 to 1,000 and back down again. And it's going to give you some nice variability here. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there. Hey, team, thanks a lot. Save this demo. You might save it as something, and then you have it for later. I just thought it was really cool to see the bug and the little bit of variability, making it look like live data, because numbers that are stale, stagnant, are very boring. Anyway, see you later. Have a great day, team. Thanks.